Hello everyone, today we have another unboxing from TheCubicle, so let's get right into it. Alright, so the cube in here is the Cubicle Premium Valk2 M. Then we have one of the new Cubicle hoodies. That looks super cool. It looked cool on the site, but it looks even better in person. And then the last thing in here is one of the Cubicle's new business cards. It says TheCubicle.com, puzzles for everyone, and then on the back it has a Cubicle Labs logo. I believe they also make these with the Angstrom logos and the Pro Shop logos on them as well. Alright, let's start off with this new hoodie. So it has a red interior. That's super cool. So the inside of the hoodie is red, and then on the front they call it an RGB logo, kind of like a 3D glitch type of style, and it is the Wireframe logo once again. This hoodie also feels a bit thinner than their other one. It feels like a lightweight hoodie. The other one was a bit thicker. For the most part, the hoodie is basically the same design as their old one, but now it says TheCubicle down the sleeve, whereas the other one said TheCubicle.us on the back of it. So now that they've rebranded just to TheCubicle, then they have the new logo down the sleeve. I love it. This is so cool. Oh, this is perfect. It reminds me of the hoodie that they made for US Nationals this year. It was kind of like lightweight, the white one. It feels like the exact same thing. I love this. Oh, it's so cool. Once again, double pockets throughout the whole thing. I love those things. You can fit some pretty big cubes in here. It's a decent sized pocket, and the Cubicle logo looks super clean in person. Also, the interior is red, so you have the red hoodie strings, and then the inside of the hood is red as well. Then once again, you got the Cubicle down the arm, and the other arm is just blank, but oh, this is a super cool hoodie. Alright, so now that we have that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at the cube in the box. This is the Cubicle Valk2 M. So the cube does come wrapped in plastic wrap and with a cubicle stand as well. So the first thing you'll notice about this cube out of the box is the size. The cube is 51 millimeters compared to the standard 50 millimeter size. So just for a little bit of a comparison, on the right here we have the WAPO M. It's barely noticeable when you put them next to one another, but you can see that the Valk2 is ever so slightly bigger. And when you hold it in your hands, you can really feel the size difference. I don't think it'll be a bad change. I think, if anything, it'll make it a bit better, because I sometimes find 2x2s can be a bit small. So a 51 millimeter size is a welcome change. So without further ado, let's just do some turns. Okay, so it's a bit slow out of the box, just from the lube, but it's really smooth and quiet. The magnets aren't as strong as I thought they would be, but the magnets in this cube are different than your average 2x2. The cube is fairly slow out of the box, but there are a few things that I noticed that are really different about this cube. If you've ordered a magnetic 2x2 in the past, such as this Angstrom WAPO M, you'll know that the way that most people magnetize 2x2s is from corner to corner, because, well, it seems like the logical option. You have one corner, you magnetize it to the other corner. But that provides a weird bump in the magnet system because you put two magnets on either side, so you have a magnet on this side of the piece, a magnet on that side of the piece, so there's kind of like a double click almost. It doesn't feel that distracting, but that's something that the Valk actually changed. So instead of magnetizing this corner piece to this corner piece, what they did is they used the internal edge, and they put a magnet in that, and then they magnetized it to each of the corners. So it's like a 3x3, but smushed into a 2x2 size. So basically they magnetized the edge here to the inner parts of each of the corner stalks. Instead of having a somewhat double magnetic click on either side, you kind of just have one click, like you're turning a 3x3. So far it doesn't feel like it has a drastic effect on the way it feels, the way the magnets respond. The magnets are definitely not as strong as I would have expected them to be. The magnets on this cube aren't too noticeable, but they're not extremely light either. It might also have something to do with the fact that this cube has been lubed recently, so it's a bit slow out of the box. But however, I'm sure that when it breaks in, the magnets might become a bit more noticeable as the lube slightly speeds up and wears out. But overall, the turning quality on this cube is really amazing out of the box. Once again, it is slightly slow, but it's also nice and quiet, and the turning is solid because this cube is slightly on the heavier side. So compared to things like the MGC, especially, that was a very light and airy 2x2, This 2x2 feels like it's a bit heavier and has a bit more substantial turning, so it has a bit more weight to it when you're doing moves. So if that's something that you look for in 2x2s, then this would definitely be a 2x2 that would appeal to you. It reminds me slightly of the MF2 M. I like this cube and I used it for my main for a while before I got the Wayfo because it had really quiet but smooth turning. It also had a slightly more solid and heavy feel than the 2x2 I had been previously using, and I like that feeling, and that's why I switched to it. So now that I have another 2x2 that has that substantial feeling when I'm turning it, I think this has a great chance of being my main. Also, since it's a Chi puzzle, it has a lot better shades, in my opinion, than the Moyu one. So the white's the same, the green is ever so slightly brighter on the Chi one, the red is a lot darker, the blue is a lot darker, the orange is fairly similar, but it is slightly darker, a bit more vibrant, less pastel-y than on this one. And then the yellow is obviously a lot more bright. This one is kind of dull, but overall the shades are just like they are on all other Chi stickerless puzzles, and I much prefer them to the Moyu shades. Overall, the 51mm size doesn't seem to be affecting me that much. I'm glad that Chi made the decision to make their 2x2 bigger than average rather than smaller than average, because I've tried the GAN 249. It's a very nice puzzle because the turning is super smooth, but it's tiny, and I found that it kept slipping out of my hands and I couldn't quite finger trick on it too well just because of how small it was. And now that we have a slightly bigger puzzle, I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. So that's about it for my first impressions on this cube. I'll probably do a full review on it a bit later if you guys are interested once I've broken it in and have some better opinions on it. Either way, I'd like to give a huge thank you to TheCubicle for sending me this Valk2 M and the brand new merch to test out. If you'd like to check out either of these two products, I'll have links in the description below so you can check them out on their store. So that's about all I have for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.